Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, man, inshallah, I'll be brief, just a few minutes. I wanna advise people to be mindful of your surroundings. Be mindful of your surroundings, and be mindful about shaytan. Because I want you to be mindful, because just because someone is Muslim, have accepted Islam, don't mean you automatically let your guard down. You see what I'm saying? Because some of us fall into so many different things, into waswas. You know, one thing that stay in my mind, there's a Quran ayat where it refers to shaytan is the brother of the spendthrift, right? So a spendthrift, some of the way that they detail it, just to give you an example, when they used to make things out of wool and different stuff like that, they used to have this wheel. And, you know, I don't know how it originally started, but at one point, some of the images I seen, and I used to see them in cartoons as a kid, where it looked like a woman it looked like it got a seat with some pedals on it, this big wheel, and it had this yarn on it, and they would spin it, and it would spin this yarn up, to organize this yarn where they could take it and make blankets from it, or just make it into a big old ball of yarn. Like they might make one big ball and then cut it. So what it's saying is, like, to be like a spinster is basically like, don't make this big old ball of yarn, don't take all this yarn and build a big blanket just to unravel all of it. Don't destroy what you built with your own hands, right? Because then you're going to be the brother of the shaitan. You see what I'm saying? This is the Quran ayat, which I might get into the tafsirs of it. Possibly do a video with the tafsirs of it. But I look at this analogy, and I see people create situations that appear good, and then they unravel it. Like being a major spendthrift. So, you know, and I'm saying that because I want people to be mindful, man, because the I'm trying to figure out how to word this. But the worst person to try to tell you how to do something is the person that does nothing. You know, when you deal with tarbiyah and you understand what tarbiyah is, some people try to bring tarbiyah to an English English terminology of nurturing, cultivating, right? Paying close attention and trying to bring a person from point A to point Z, but making sure that they become the best version. Sort of like anybody who is a sports fan. You could see how somebody like Floyd Mayweather, the way his father started him off as a little bitty kid, putting the big gloves on him, cultivating and nurturing him to become the champion that he became. And he exceeded that. But these was different forms of tarbiyah into what he was in. Some of your greatest athletes, your Kobe Bryant's, the way his father nurtured and cultivated him to become who he became. This also happens in Islamic education, right? So sometimes you have to understand the landscape to get people educated. To get them first, you have to get. It's almost like when you're in a sick community. First, people have to realize that they are sick in order to try to cure themselves. So first, you have to get the people aware enough to realize you're really not educated. Then once they can accept that and really want education, now you got to help them learn how to get educated properly to where they can implement the thing the way it's supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? And this takes a lot of work. See, what you're going to start to notice is in our society, we've become, not just Muslims, in general, the society has become a society of, I don't want to use a cuss word, but half butters. we do stuff half butt. You know what I'm saying? So when you're a person and you really want to educate yourself, you're gonna have to depend on yourself first, and then you're gonna have to make a lot of dua, and you're gonna have to ask Allah for the guidance and what fields of study you should get into. Because when you deal with half butter, see, one thing you're gonna have to start to realize is sometimes people they don't listen attentively. They listen for something that's going to benefit them. They listening to respond. They listening to corrupt. Pardon me 1 second. They listening to corrupt and destroy, or they only pay attention to the parts that they feel like benefit them. So they don't listen attentively. You might be giving them the jewels that they need, but they don't hear it. They don't listen to it because they don't see the benefit in it. So, and then they already don't want to put in the work, but they want the gratification of putting that work in. So you have to get people to a point to realize, take a look and figure out what your why is. Take a good look at what your why is. Then that way you can purify your intentions. Because shaytan ain't gonna go nowhere. So like, we have a situation where people want to learn, but in this room you may have people who say, I've been Muslim 10 years, I've been Muslim 20 years, I've been Muslim 5 years, I've been Muslim a long time, I've only practiced 1 year, 2 years. But we all want to be educated based off of what's going to change my circumstances. Don't teach me Islam from the ground up. I don't need all of that. I need you to teach me something to fix my attitude. This one, I need you to teach me something how to fix my job. This one, I need you to just teach me something how to fix my marriage. their why. Jannah and practicing Islam the way that it should be practiced isn't involved in their why. How can I half butt it? And I'm gonna sit down and say this. You can't half butt your way into Jannah. But you can half butt your way into Jahannam. You know what I'm saying? So then you have to look at the intentions of some people, man. Because if I'm in a group and we got one set of lessons, and this one set of lessons has 20 parts, and we all come in, this person got a different set of lessons with 10 parts. This one got these ones doing a lesson with 20 parts. They already did the 10-part lessons, but I could see they ain't do the full 10 parts, but they didn't absorb that because they half butted it. So they fall into the same things that they fell into before they took that because they not taken for implementation. So when you're trying to get a group to the point of this is about practicing Islam properly on all cylinders with the best of your ability, it's going to take a process of tarbiyah just to get people to that point. People who don't read, people who don't love reading, people who not book readers, people who just feel like I can shortcut my way and ask Google to win an argument or to sound impressive or to convince other people that I'm a particular way. I could just short butt it. I can half butt my way into that. They don't know nothing anyway. They not gonna know no better. They not gonna know if I'm quoting some Sufism or they not gonna know. They not gonna know if this is a fabricated hadith. They not gonna know if this hadith wasn't really a hadith. This was the opinion of Imam Shafi'i. They not gonna know. I can pass it on to them as whatever. And then I'm not going to be careful enough because the knowledge of that thing doesn't really matter to me. I just need to get on the internet and win an argument. Not necessarily win an argument, but to beat the other person, to sound more better in the argument. Because we both wrong, I just sound better. When you dealing with these, when you dealing with a circle like this, you got to get people to get to the point where they're going to purify themselves, man, or they're not going to get nothing. They're going to waste your time and theirs. So if this one has 10 lessons and this one has 20 lessons and we doing one lesson a week, 2 months pass, and if you're doing one lesson a week, you could do 4 lessons in 1 month. In 1 month, at minimum, you should be on lesson 4, right? And even the ones who doing the 20 part, even the ones who doing the 10. A month passed, you ain't even done with lesson 1. A month past this group, you only on lesson 2. So then it may be people who done it before who had one particular understanding, just like with me. When I go through and redo stuff years later and I have a stronger understanding, there's certain things about that material that I understand better than I did before. But I was able to answer the questions in accordance with the book because the answers is in the book. But sometimes the understanding of bringing it into implementation is better when I go back and be like, oh, I understand this better. So sometimes there's people who've done it before who know how to answer the questions. They ain't gonna do the lessons. They just gonna read what they did before, not realizing there's some more that you can get out of it. Just like we'll take the Quran for instance. For the ones who read it every Ramadan, every once in a while people read the Quran and be like, yo, this my first time. This like my first time reading this. But you may have read the Quran 20 times. Or like, oh, last year I understood it this way. This year I have a better understanding of it. The same thing can happen with your studies. That's why they always press revision. Always go back and revise. So when you have this group, then it be the individuals, man, that don't do nothing at all. They ain't gonna take no tests. They ain't gonna do no homework. They ain't gonna do no quizzes. They're gonna come and step in and start saying stuff like, well, let's press more of a program. You know what I'm saying? Let's press more of a program. Let's start making everybody do 3 lessons a week. They struggling with 1 lesson. And then you're not gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I'm saying, man, people need to be more aware of their surroundings, man, because sometimes, man, the people who spend in the yard is also unraveling it. This is, and then even when you in a thing, listen, this isn't about knowing how to just answer a question. Islam is not something that you talk about. It's something that you implement. You could talk about the deen until your tongue fall out your mouth. Do that mean it's gonna get you in the Jannah? No. It's your actions, it's your deeds that matter. This isn't about a social group. This isn't about getting some type of status or pat on the back. Like, hey, I'm a teacher, look at me. No, I'm one of y'all. I'm doing this stuff with y'all. But then, like I say, man, you have certain people who come around and it's just like, sometimes I have to question people's intentions, man, because I done seen people unravel a whole lot of stuff. But in the back of their head, it made sense to them because it would just be like, man, it play in my head, man. And this conversations I done had with people, man, like, and I'm going to speak on it briefly, man, because I want people to understand something. So, we moved to a new masjid, right? And they decided they didn't want to have a board, but for the 501c3, they had to have people in certain places for the non-profit organization. So they wanted to put a brother as the secretary. So us to the board, you the secretary. And these other people may or may not wanted other people's names on there. I seen them in conversation. They was like, hey, you want to put anybody else's name on there? They was like, no. So at this point, it's like, what's y'all intentions? So they took on the job as the secretary. And everything that was good that was trying to be done, they stopped it. They went and got all this money. The carpet, it was some old mildewy carpet in there. They got the money. These doctors, they rich. They want to replace the whole entire carpet in the masjid, ceiling leaking. They want to repatch the whole entire ceiling. They go to the carpet place, talk to some people. The people finna come measure out the rooms. They finna put new padding. They finna put new carpet up and everything. This individual get to talking about he not finna let them spend that kind of money. He can do it. So he even tell the other brother, when the people come here at 9 o'clock, don't open the doors. And I'm talking to him like, why is you getting in the way? Like it's their money. No, I ain't gonna let them spend that type of money. We could do it. So I go with them to buy a little patch. The only thing that really need to be done is this back, and then we could get somebody to shampoo it. Because he was wanting to look so valuable to the community. But how you looking to Allah? This is what I wanted him to grasp. So we go and buy this piece. He know how to measure this and that. So we go spend all this money for a piece in the back. He done mismeasured it. So now we got all this big old whole bunch of extra carpet. But his thing is, I'm not going to let them waste no money. But ended up wasting money. This is why you have to be aware of your surroundings and your intentions. So now we put the piece in the back, but all the rest of the carpet is still molded and need to be changed. You know what I'm saying? So like once they had removed it before, just that back part, it was too damaged for them. But this is his mind of solving it. The voodoo room for the sisters, it was broke. They called a real plumber out. He find out a real plumber is there. He go make the plumber leave. No, I ain't letting them spend that type of money. I can fix it. It's been 10 years. That voodoo room is still broke. That carpet is still nasty. People came in and bought all new tiles to replace everything, but had to argue with him. So they took their tiles and left. All this area need to be this. We gonna hire a professional shampooer to come in because it was a person just coming in with a little. Now, like I used to try to talk to him, but like even now it's like I'm looking at him like man, what's your intentions, man? So a person is coming in with the hand shampooer, like a vacuum sweeper, doing it itself. But it's really not fixing the problem. So they want to bring in a professional with the van and come in with the hoses, deodorize it, mold, protect it, all of that. The whole entire building. He put a stop to it. I ain't going to spend that money. I'm going to do it. But the same person who they paid money, you finna use the same type of machine as him, and it's not sufficient. But he's telling himself, but to this day, none of it ever got done. None of it ever got done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it matters. So then it gets to the point with him being a secretary. For whatever reasons, I ain't judging him. He goes and takes some money out of the account. He the secretary. He has access to the account because he's supposed to pay the bills. So he go and take some money out of the account. They set the account up and had him access on it, so they get a text message every time something comes out of it, so that they can keep up with the bills. We know a bill been paid. If we don't get a text message that the bill has been paid, then we know we got to make something going on. The money for the bills ain't came out. They wasn't expecting to catch him stealing money. I ain't gonna say stole money, but they wasn't expecting him to take any money out without his authorization. Because if they had, they wouldn't have never even put him over the money. But because they got text messages that he had took, we not talking about no chump change. He took a nice amount of money out of the account, and because they caught him, and it wasn't like a reprimand, it was just like, we got text messages that this a large amount of money came out of the account. What was this for? Cool, he give him an explanation. All right, fine. But, ahead of time, just let us know. Oh, we going to get a text message anytime money come out of it. But now he's mad because they caught him. So now he's sitting up saying, I'm finna show them they don't run nothing. Who authorized them to do the account and all this and that? So now he's intentionally, on purpose, refusing to pay the bills. So we showing up to Jumar. He refused to pay the water bill. Now the water shut off. Now people can't come to make wudu. They not expecting the water to be shut off. You know, I'm having to go in the back and pour bottles of water in bowls, or taking bags of ice and put them in bowls and put them in the microwave so that people can have wudu water. But this didn't bother him. And I'm telling him the whole time, like, this the masjid. This bigger than you. No, I'm finna show them they don't run nothing. So then after they do that with the water, they do the exact same thing with the electricity. On a hot summer day. So now people got to come in the masjid, not only sit in the dark, but can't turn on the ceiling fans, the fans in there, or the AC. So now people in there hot, sweating to death, and it's about as dark as this, where you could just see through the window. And luckily, you know, the person giving the kubar didn't have to read from a paper, because he wouldn't have been able to see good. But all of this because they caught him doing something he wasn't supposed to do. Regardless of if the money was going to get put back. But my whole thing is, why start destroying everything? And once the electricity thing happened, but they there not telling people the truth why the electricity and why the water is off. When I'm around them and they sitting up saying, I ain't going to pay it. I'm going to let it all get showed off. Like it's going to show them his value. They could have did it on their own. They could have paid it. They could handle the business. You wanted to be listed as the secretary on the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole bunch of things I could go through. I mean, I could go through a whole list of things. I'm sitting there talking to him like, man, you know, while it's happening. And to this day, man, like, none of that has ever been fixed. And I used to say to them, man, what if Allah punish you down the line for all of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if Allah take your deen away? This stuff is from the shaytan, man. And then, like, whenever I encounter them, and it's some type of situation where people want to come together, it's like they have suggestions that's gonna tear up everything, but it's also something that they not even gonna do. And you know, you just have to be mindful, man, as a Muslim, man. You know, and like I say, man, I'm not speaking bad about them. You know, I still consider them to be a brother, man. But you know, sometimes, man, I just have to wonder what's their intentions, because I seen the destruction that they brought about and knew what their intentions was. Oh, I'm finna prove to them this. I'm finna prove to them that. You know, and they stopped a whole lot of good from being done. You know, why these individuals didn't carry on and do the stuff after he blocked it, I don't know. But it was a shaytan. And like I say, after the letting the electricity get turned off, and then made it look like it was the other people, and people sitting up there sweating extreme. I mean, because it was hot. It ain't like you in Jumu'ah service in a building where they have windows open. And then usually there's real big thick windows that people can't bust with bricks, or they bulletproof. These just happen to be bulletproof, real thick glasses. And by being in the hood, you could see where there were shootouts. So you could see where bullets had hit the glass, but they couldn't go all the way through. So you could see where bullets had hit some of the buildings in there. Right? I mean, you know, where it had to hit the glass. So you can't open no windows. So people in there, you can't even turn on any type of fan. People in there sweating and the lights off. Like, how do you not fear that? Because they caught you taking money out the account. And then we're not talking about $50 We not talking about $100, $200, $300, $400. We talking about some chips. Whether they had intentions on putting it back or not, that's on them. Whatever the reason was, something should have been said. If the shoe was on the other foot, he would have said something to somebody if he got a text message. Let's say he was married and his wife supposed to pay the bills. She have access to the account to pay all the bills, right? And then all of a sudden he get a text message, an automatic text message saying that $1,000 came out of the account. He's gonna go home and say, hey, I got a text message that $1,000 came out of the account. What happened with it? And then she get an explanation. Then he say, okay, well, next time, just let me know. So, who wouldn't have said something? And, even with me trying to say, something was supposed to be said to you. Nah, it's because I'm black. They put you over the account and you was black. They knew you was black when they gave you access to the money. No, they just want me to be their boy. You asked for that position. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, then when I see them starting to mess up other little stuff, man, I be looking at it like, what's his intention? Because every time I seen him do this, I was just always around where I had to hear his side of the story. And I'm going to be honest. Just like I used to say then, he wasn't in the right. He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's the math. You going to make everybody who's coming to Juma suffer. Because you got caught taking some money? Whether you was going to put it back or not? Like, where's the fear of Allah from a situation like that? And this is just a baseline of stuff I'm discussing. But like now I see, they keep interjecting and switching up things and coming in and saying this and let's do this and let's do that behind some stuff that they never even done and don't know how to do. But it's gonna make everything worse. But my whole thing is, what's the intentions, man? So sometimes, man, you have to free yourself from certain situations, man. Like you have to. And the progress of the Muslims, man, can't be at the forefront, man, of this level of thinking. It's going backwards, man. It's being a spendthrift. Why unravel everything that individuals trying to put together? And see, sometimes, man, you could be an individual where 10 people come together and put the plan together, but it just looks like you the organizer of those plans. And that stuff matters to people, and that's not even the case. Man, we got to be careful, man, because shaytan is crafty, man. Shaytan is crafty. And we could be the individuals destroying exactly what we put in the work in to build. You gotta, you just gotta be aware of your surroundings, man. And just because somebody is Muslim, don't mean you're supposed to put your guards down and become naive. Stay focused. If you're trying to study something, like I know a brother. He's supposed to be taking classes, right? He got some classes, and it's designed in Tarbiyah. We're gonna say it's 10 lessons. In 2 months, it's something that I did. I did 1 lesson per night, right? 10 lessons. I finished up the whole thing, to be honest with you, just to keep it Dougie. I finished it in less than 2 weeks. It's 9 in a book. one lesson a day, you finish 7 in a week. I finished the whole thing in less than 2 weeks. Right? In 2 months, you should at least be done with 8 lessons. But instead of reading the books and reading the lessons and doing the test and the homework, whenever I see them, they talking about, man, I was reading this book and this subject on this and this subject on that. And I'm sitting up saying, why are you not doing the stuff you in class for? Oh man, well, I was talking to this person, I was talking to that person, they recommend this, they was talking about this book and talking about that book. That's just like you in high school. And you got math, English, social studies, and instead of trying to graduate where you become educated, somebody sitting up pulling you and like, hey man, let's go home and read the rap magazines. Let's go sit around here and read some comic books. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things is distraction, man. This is was, man. This is shaytan. And when you're a person who able to recognize those things and you try to advise your brothers, they don't want to hear it because the whisper is so strong, that the effect of the whispers of shaytan is so strong on them. You might as well not have said anything at all. So you find yourself in a position when you just listening to them and they be so far left, you just have to be like this. Yeah, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? And it's difficult. It's difficult, man, because now I gotta question myself, like, man, because I'm at the point where, I just know saying something ain't gonna do no good. And I'm not gonna keep wasting my time. It's a whole lot I'm trying to accomplish, man. You know what I'm saying? Islamically. I'm not gonna keep wasting my time, man, But so anybody, man, you out there studying, man, don't let nobody who's not really studying, or even if you just reading a book, don't let people who's not doing anything pull you off for that. If they sitting around like, oh yeah, I read that book, woo out the woo, I read that and I did that. Oh, okay, alhamdulillah. What is talking about in chapter 10? They can't talk to you about it. Oh, well, I'm on chapter 3, man. What? Kind of give me a summary of chapter 4. They can't talk to you about it. Why? Because they ain't read it. They may have skimmed through it. They may have touched it. But at that point, they're in your way. And they just trying to turn it into a competition like I done did more than you already read that, I already finished that. And see, that's one thing about a person who actually read books. Because I done been around numerous individuals that could say this and that. And I could say flat out. See, the difference between me and you is I actually read the book. I know what's in it. What you talking about ain't in there. You know what I'm saying? And then you will be able to see the benefit of if they absorb from the book. Ain't no way you read that book with all this disobedience you up on. And if you have read it and you did benefit from this and you up on all this disobedience, then you need to recognize that shaytan done put you in an unfavorable place. And we talking about clear-cut disobedience. Things that Allah despises. look, things that the angels despise. If the angels hate it, if the angels can't be around, how you think Allah feel about it? Like, but these is the ones who trying to set the standard for the future of the Ummah. And man, that, this kind of like a continuation of what I said. And I'm about to leave and go to work, but I feel sorry for the future of the Ummah, man. Because I'm looking at the people who's trying to lead it. They can't even lead themselves, man. And that would scare me. Like me, I ain't trying to be nobody leader. I ain't trying to be nobody teacher. I'll step in and try to get and open the eyes up. and say, look, this is what you need to do. This is how this and that. This is what's going to work. This is from Tarbiyah. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need to develop the love for reading. If you're not going to develop the love for reading, how you going to develop the love for studying? Quit looking for a pat on the back from the people when you want a pat on the back from Allah Azza wa Jal. If you're not going to turn into a person that loves to read and be able to bury their nose in a book and get away from Googling and willing to invest your money in books or get them on PDFs on the internet, you're not going to be who you claim to be. You're not going to be. You're going to be a shell of what you want people to think of you. You know what I'm saying? And like I heard a person say, sometimes it's not about trying to build a wall in a day. But if you lay a brick every single day, eventually you're going to have a wall. Every day I deal with something. I still have things. I'm revising certain things. I'm always into something Islamically. And as far as reading, my nose is in the book every day. I deal with hadiths every day. I deal with tafsirs or something on the Quran every day. Every day. And then some type of lessons from classes and different things that I'm taking every day. Like if I don't get to the tafsirs like I want, but I still, because of the way I'm studying and things I study, I have to go look at least one ayat or a couple of ayats. I have to look at the tafsirs on at least one ayat. 6 days out of 7, 5 days out of 7. I'm always reading, you know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing with hadiths. It might be a hadith in my lessons. Then I want to go look at that whole section and read all the hadiths on it. So I'm looking at some hadiths and different things every day. Every day I lay a brick. And it's that consistency, man. So I'm telling y'all, man, don't let people that's not doing anything trick you out of what you're doing. And find it in yourself and make dua to become steadfast upon what you're doing. To where you're consistent. To where you're doing at least a little bit of something every single day. Don't cheat yourself, man. Listen, cheating yourself on an Islamic education, you should look at it as, I'm cheating myself out of Jannah. That's how you have to look at it. I'm cheating myself out of Jannah. But let me get up out of here, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.